Hi beautiful people, welcome back. Hope everybody is doing fantastic wherever you are in this world. So I've been getting a lot of compliments about the backdrop and or what's behind me. Please don't get used to it, you guys. As I said, I was in the middle of spring cleaning and I basically just hit a roadblock because I have to make space. This room is not that huge. As I've told you before, my son actually does his homeschooling from here, so he's there and this all can't be in the way. And let's also make space for Max because Max just sleeps there in or sits there in his little teepee when I'm filming, because we did have a baby gate, but since he grew bigger and he's just been so needy, I had to basically remove a part of the baby gate so he could actually go in his tent and just sit and watch. And I'll actually insert a picture here. So I still have to, well, now this morning after I finish film this, I have to find a whole new space for this whole setup so my son has his space in the back there. So you guys, can I please tell you about my weekend, my eventful weekend, if you would call it that. So I managed to get an appointment to get the vaccine done, and thank you Lord, I was able to get it on Friday. And I was like so psyched to get it. I was happy knowing, it gives you a bit of sense of relief, knowing you're going to get this. So I think my appointment was at 9:40 in the morning. And I felt so good, because you get all these horror stories about the side effects and stuff like that. So by the time I came to about 4 o'clock, I was still feeling wonderful, no problem at all. So at about 5 o'clock, I managed to take my daughter, the 19-year-old, to get her second dose of the Pfizer. And then we still went to do a little bit of running around and I was good. So by the time I came home at about 6:30, I did whatever I needed to do, fed the kids. We chilled out for a bit, and then I looked at the time and it was, I think, 7:45 or 7:50. And I got up to make a cup of coffee, and then I just felt my body. It was aching. My arm started hurting a little bit, but not that much. About half an hour later, I felt like my body was hit by a bus. I was like, oh, hell no. So I just went to my bedroom. I laid down a bit. My husband walked in the door around about 9:15. And I was like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, babe, I feel like a bus has hit my body. Is how sore I was. So he just said to me, okay, fine. You just lay. I'll sort myself out, do what I need to do. And then he still came to the bedroom with some Tylenol. And I took the Tylenol. And he said I was knocked out within minutes. I don't even remember falling asleep. And then he woke me up at 12 o'clock and he says, Renelle, you are sweating, you are hot, hot, hot. Just go in the bath and have a nice cold bath. He ended up changing the bedding. I got out the bath, got back into bed, and he still tried to hold me, and I was like, babe, please don't even touch me. That's how sore my body was. I ended up falling asleep again, to no avail. I remember it was 3:45 because I still looked at my phone, and he was like, we need to go outside and check if everything's okay. So he went to the one side of the house to check on the two younger girls, and then I went to the other side of the house to check on my son and my eldest daughter to see if they were okay. They all ended up in my little girl's bedroom, and they were hanging out, and thank God we didn't lose any power. But then the storm carried on till probably 7 o'clock in the morning. That's how bad it was. Anyway, we finally did go back to bed. I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I rested a bit and I slept throughout the day. So later on in the evening, our two older girls actually came in the room, came to check up on me. So we were talking. So my eldest daughter brought it up, asked her dad, do you mind if I get my nose pierced? So he looked at her and was like, okay, so where's this coming from? So my younger daughter, that's 15, she says, oh, I want to have my cartilage pierced. So he's like, okay, that's fine, no problem, you can have it done. So we're like, can we go now? So he's like, where would we get somewhere now? So he says, well, now do you think there'll be anywhere that can do piercings now? So I found a place that's just up the street, and they were like, yeah, sure, we do that, you can come on in, no problem. You guys. So I got up, I got in the shower, got changed, ready to go. So the three of us went. And as soon as we got to the place, they were like so psyched. They were so excited to do it. filled out all the paperwork, and then my 19-year-old was still busy. So I said, okay. They asked me, they said, Mom, you go. I'm like, what has all this got to do with me now? You're one to the piercings. Why me? No, Mom, you can go and you can tell us how it feels. I'm like, I'm not piercing my nose. You're mad. So my 15-year-old said, okay, Mom, you do your cartilage with me. So I'm like, okay. So I pulled up my paperwork and I said, okay, let's do this. So I went in, but none of them came in with me. I went in by myself. So I came out and I was like, guys, it's like nothing. You know, it's even better than having your ear pierced. There's no stinging, there's nothing, it's fine. So my 15-year-old's turn to go. So she was like so psyched she's getting this done. He went, he marked the ear, everything. She laid down. As soon as he put his hand on her ear, Max, stop. As soon as he put his hand on her ear, she freaked out. She says, oh, just give me 5 minutes. Let Leah go. Let Leah go. So we called Leah in. Leah was like, Kaylin, why aren't you doing it? She says, oh, no, I'm just psyching myself up too much. She's like, oh, no, I'm not doing it either. So I ended up getting my cartilage pierced, and they both chickened out. And, you know, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I've heard horror stories about having your cartilage pierced. It's been a full, 24 hours now? No pain, nothing. I just clean it with the saline water. I've been able to sleep on that side. It's been fine. And I'm sorry, Max is actually under my feet, busy playing with the toy that is shaking my camera. So if you want to say that was an eventful weekend, that was my eventful weekend. Okay, so my usual disclaimer, please don't take what I say as fact. This is just purely my opinions, my theories. Please feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. So if you guys know, on April 8th, which was last week Thursday, LB, Leslie Bass, actually did an interview with Lori Ann from the whole Without a Crystal Ball lawsuit. And all I'm going to say about that is, in my opinion, Leslie Bass needs a whole spa day to basically regain her composure, to regain her brain cells, because I was tapped out in the first 20 minutes. I was truly tapped out. I did go back and I watched the replay of it, and oh my goodness, let's just leave it as that. So, KJ, Katie Joy. Katie Joy just cannot see somebody else get the attention or the spotlight. So she decided to go on her Twitter and make huge accusations and allegations. Let's go over those. But before we get into this hot mess that's going on, as I am filming this, which is 3:38 Monday morning. There we go. Can you see that? 3:38 Monday morning. And KJ's Twitter is privated. I'm going to talk about that later, why I feel it's been privated. So KJ went and made a post on her Instagram on Friday, and this is what it says. I received confirmation from a reporter at Business Insider that Michael Saltzy directed them to watch a legal YouTuber for the source on the lawsuit. A few days later, Emily D. Baker went live with the information. We repeatedly requested to give her our side and she never responded. And this was the message that she received. Of course, he spoke to my co-worker on November 6, 2020 and said, per her notes, if things go according to plan, there will be someone who is on YouTube who will go through everything in detail and break everything down for you. They're a lawyer, and then you'll have a source. You guys, I didn't manage to get all KJ's tweets because, honestly speaking, I don't have all the time, you know, to keep up with her hot mess. But she did go on quite a bit, and also is that, in my opinion, this is just KJ looking to be in the spotlight. That's just my take on it. That's just my opinion on it. She goes on and she says that the reporter noted that days later, Emily had a pinned tweet about how excited she was to receive praise from such an amazing attorney like Saltzy. They also noted that Emily told someone privately she was friends with Saltzy. These are huge allegations to be making. Huge. And then she goes on to say, of course, they will deny that they had a relationship or that exchange of info wasn't about me. What did not change is Saltzy repeatedly promoting Emily, tweeting each other, and Emily laughing at my Twitter meltdowns due to the immense stress and harassment I was experiencing. Wow, wow. Then she goes on to make this tweet Saturday morning. Good morning to the haters that are mad I didn't go live or lose it on Instagram or YouTube. Sorry, that's not going to happen this time. I just shared what I shared and went to bed with a gif of haters gonna hate. Really? Really? But that didn't last long because Katie went on all day Saturday. And late in the afternoon, Michael Saltzy actually came forward. He says, this only involved the Swanson case, a case about which I could not answer questions. It literally had nothing to do with Without a Crystal Ball. I don't know if the Emily D. Baker would cover it on the 6th or the 7th. I directed them to Emily D. Baker for the Swanson case info I could not answer. Nice try. Then he says, believe it or not, the press couldn't care less about the Without the Crystal Ball case. No reporter has ever contacted me asking about the Without a Crystal Ball case, even though we would have provided a prepared statement. No one wanted to report on it, even Business Insider. The shade. And then he goes ahead and he says, this is the November 5th email from @Business Insider seeking information from me on the Swanson-Tati dispute and Tati's career, not the Without a Crystal Ball case. Putting this here to help certain journalists retract any potentially misleading statements to the contrary. Call me with questions. Hi Michael, my name redacted, and I'm a reporter for Insider covering beauty. I'm working on a story about Tati Westbrook's career, and I'm including the section about the lawsuit filed by Clark Swanson against her and James Westbrook in regards to Halo Beauty. I previously reached out to Halo Beauty, and a representative of the company suggested I contact you. Would the Westbrooks or the representative like to share any comments about the lawsuit for my piece? I look forward to hearing from you. Best, name redacted. So that was the whole spiel with that. And I want you guys to think about this, right? Emily D. Baker is such a reputable district attorney, a lawyer. She's covered how many lawsuits on her channel? Michael Saltzy, he is such another reputable lawyer. Do you think that any of these two will even bother trying to jeopardize their reputations? And this is no shade to any of them, but it's not even worth it. You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, KJ is looking to be in the spotlight again, whether it be good press or bad press. She's just she feels that by getting any kind of attention is going to boost her numbers, which has worked for her. But we should keep continuing to call out her bullshit, because this is bullshit, okay? She's not going after, and no disrespect on Civil or to Nate, not going after them, which they all had their input about this. But only KJ seems to have a problem with Emily D. Baker. And it's like, wow, absolute wow. And if she is saying that they had, or she has this information that they've been communicating with each other in regard to this case, it's like, where's the evidence? Why haven't you filed anything yet? And also the fact that she says only comes out if somebody else is going through an harassment or threats, then all of a sudden she goes through these things. She decided to tweet this out. Michael Saltzy Esquire, I am demanding that you stop tweeting about me or at me. I am a represented party. I have only spoken out because of your continued tweets which have falsely accused me of hacking and hiding hackers this week. My attorney is the only person you should talk to. Michael Saltzy has not accused her falsely of anything. Absolutely nothing. He shared his perspective on what happened with the Lori Ann declaration, which she is claiming is absolutely false. Really, Katie? Really? So in those declarations where it shows you and your husband thanking the people for mass flagging other channels, is all that just fake? Are we not seeing that? Am I just missing something? Because let's read this again. Mr. Michael Saltzy, Esquire. I am demanding that you stop tweeting about me or at me. Where is all this happening? Because I don't see it. I truly don't. I am a represented party. I have only spoken out because of your continued tweets, which have falsely accused me of hacking and hiding hackers this week. What? KJ, if you go back and look at Saltzy's tweets and things that he has tweeted, he hasn't named you. But you know what? If the shoe fits, wear it, right? Then she says, my attorney is the only person you should talk to. Really? And this is also another thing which Saltzy made mention of. I'm blocked. She is supposed to not be able to see my tweets and I don't see hers. Which makes so much sense because everything that Saltzy sees from KJ is sent to him. So that's how he responds. He says, I will send screenshots of actionable accusations being made against me to which I am legally authorized to publicly respond to mitigate potential harm. No direct communication to her exists, which is so true. And then what happened? What do you think happened? KJ's Twitter is privated, okay? But we're gonna get there. Then she goes after Emily D. Baker, and this is what she says to Emily. Dear Emily, will you please remove the videos you made about the lawsuits related to false declarations? Videos about Lori or Natalie serve no one and only continue to damage all parties involved. Both declarations were 100% false and have greatly damaged my reputation. You want to cry wolf and say, because of Emily, you're losing subscribers, you're losing money. Let's take a look at what Emily D. Baker had to say.
November 7th, if memory serves, is when I came out with the exclusive video from Tati with the Swanson lawsuit, with the response that I was provided on the Swanson suit. And I'm going to just go to my channel real quick and take a look, because that's the timing of what happened there. The Swanson suit was breaking, and that is the business partner lawsuit that Tati was that KJ was the first person who reported on. And with regard to that suit, I asked if there was a comment with regard to the Swanson suit, and Saltzy, who is not the attorney on the Swanson suit, said that he would try to provide me a comment from the lawyers on that suit or other information, and then provided me with documentation that was prepared in anticipation of litigation that I provided to all of you and said, this was provided to me, this is how this was provided to me, and let's talk about it. I'm going to pull it up, because the only thing that came out around that time in November was stuff regarding the Swanson suit. So these are my Lawyer Reacts videos. This is the exclusive one, and this video is from November 7th. But this is November 7th. So this is regarding this Clark Swanson suit, and this is an is she mad that there was an exclusive? This is regarding the Swanson suit. This literally has nothing to do with the Tati Westbrook Without a Crystal Ball suit. I didn't tell anyone privately that I was friends with Saltzy. I have mentioned that we had the conversation that I've told you all about, because I didn't know what a Saltzy was until he was representing Tati, and then saw on his social medias that he had been a DA, I had been a DA.
Yes, I absolutely did pin a tweet where Saltzy was talking about a number of people, not just myself, that were covering this case, because it was funny. So funny. We're gonna be we're going to have fun because it's funny.
If you go and watch the coverage of this lawsuit, you will see the numerous times she threatened to sue me, came for me, called me names, disparaged me, continuing to try to insinuate that things that did not happen have happened, could start treading into unlawful territory, in my opinion.
I'm a type of person where I listen very, very carefully. And if KJ knows what's good for her, KJ needs to keep in her lane. Because at this point, all she's doing is starting up unnecessary drama where she's begging, in my opinion, for another lawsuit. Why are you going after these attorneys? You have no reason to go after them. You have your shit to do. You feel you've been acquitted, you won, your case got dismissed, okay? Why are you still going after Michael Saltz or Emily D. Baker? Listen carefully to Emily D. Baker's words. And she's not just going to roll over and play dead. You keep going after her, you're playing with fire, you're going to get burnt. Like I said to you guys in the beginning of the video, KJ has actually privated her Twitter, okay? In my opinion, she has been getting heat over this because the whole weekend, people have been making videos about all this messiness of hers, all this mess of hers. So in my opinion, she has been getting a lot of backlash. But also when I went to check her Instagram, okay, this is what she posted. And I think she's going to use one of two things I'm going to mention as an excuse for the reason for her shutting down her Twitter. So it says, even clearing his plate from a meal or setting the table, anything that he can so to have success and to be helpful, just saying. Now, for me, okay, let's read further. She says, my son doesn't eat by mouth, he has a feeding tube. You are acting like I don't know how to parent. Come live in my house with a child with autism, medical issues, and cognitive disabilities. Then we will talk. But we're going to get into her whole explanation of everything. Now look at that comment again. Even clearing his plate from a meal or setting the table. Anything that he can so to have success and to be helpful. Just saying. So, in my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anybody coming at KJ's son. All this woman is trying to say is, you know, teach him some skills so it will benefit him later on. For example, like even clearing his plate from a meal. Meaning, like she didn't necessarily at this point, I'm assuming, know that they don't sit by the dinner table and have dinner as a family. Or all she's trying to say is teach him some skills, even if it's taking the plates off the table and taking it to the kitchen. That's just my thoughts. And as she says, anything that he can so to have success and be helpful. You know, I know, but then she goes off on a tangent, and this is what she says. I am all about teaching my child skills, but I always find it funny when I realize our life is not typical. We don't eat dinner at a table often. We haven't since our son was born. He does not eat by mouth. Other than for pleasure, due to medical conditions, he will never eat by mouth. So he does eat by mouth, certain things. Due to medical conditions, however, he will never eat by mouth. So it's always ironic when I get parenting advice that honestly isn't even part of our lives. He would never clear plates. His food goes through a tube. He lays down to be fed. Then he rests after so he doesn't get a stomach ache. Parenting is not the same for me. My expectations are not the same for my child as they are for yours. I celebrate small wins. I work on his skills, but I also know his limitations. So no, I don't expect my son to help with cleaning. Does he pick up toys? Yep. Does he help with other activities? Yes. But expecting him to clean up dishes when he doesn't use them would be super weird in our house. We aren't a family that centers our time together around the dinner table because because one of us doesn't eat and we don't want him to feel left out. Food isn't a focus of our family. It's weird because so many families it is. But we measure his food by milliliters via syringe. The more you know. Now, in my opinion, KJ is going to use the whole privating of Twitter and say people are coming after her son, which always frustrates the fuck out of me, because whenever she gets to times when her back is up against the wall, she'll use her son as a pawn, in my opinion, or she's going to use the excuse of she was hacked. Because let's face it, Emily D. Baker or Saltzy is nobody to come and play around with, honestly speaking. She was so desperate for the limelight that she had no other avenue to go, but she had to insert herself. KJ just needs to stop, okay? If KJ feels that people are coming up against her son, and if you are, once again, shame on you, because he is off limits. Absolutely off limits. So KJ should know to keep him completely off social media. If she knows that this is what goes on, don't post pictures of him. Don't post pictures of him with you feeding him through a tube. Because at the end of the day, KJ, how is he going to feel later on in life when he sees all this? It's just absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. KJ just cannot. She cannot stay in her corner. She is so desperate for attention. She is so money hungry. She sees when she gets this attention that her subscriber base grows. So she'll use whatever she needs, even if it's lies, she'll use it. In my opinion, I don't think this is going to go very well. Because by you coming after Saltzy and you coming after Emily D. Baker, you have a huge problem. Huge problem. And as I said, she's going to use one of two excuses to the reason why she has privated her Twitter. It's either she's going to say she was hacked, in my opinion, or that people are coming after her son. As I was actually thinking about this, you know, the last time KJ was talking about the vaccine, she said they got news from the hospital, the doctor's office, that they qualify for the vaccine and that she's going to look into where to get it and stuff like that. In my opinion, something like that, knowing how fragile or how compromised your child is, as soon as you got that phone call, wouldn't that have been your number one priority, was to go and get that vaccine? Me, myself, I did that. As soon as I found out, I didn't care which one it was. As long as I felt I could safeguard or do my part to safeguard my family, I was there. But not KJ, because by come hell or high water, we would have known about if she got the vaccine or not. Maybe I missed it, maybe she did, and I apologize if she did. But that's just my thought. You guys, if you want to actually get every tweet that she put out and all her bullshit about how Emily's making her lose money, lose subscribers, losing her reputation, I'm actually going to link to the SLEUTH's video down below. You can go watch that. She did a fantastic job, better than I did. So you guys, please let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Please don't forget, please be kind to one another. Have a fantastic week. And don't forget to wear your mask when you go out there. So you guys, until the next one, please be safe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.